Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a little while since my last upload. Basically, things got kind of hectic in my life, ate up all of my weekends, so I haven't been able to make any videos or even really work on a car. So fortunately, things are slowing down and I'm back to turning a wrench. Today, hopefully we're gonna finish that project we started about a month or two ago, which is the Kouki conversion on Mike's S14. If you tuned in last time, you saw that we got started, we got most of the body panels off. And one of the things that we're gonna do that a lot of other people don't do when they do the Kouki conversion is we're gonna do what I consider something that's the semi-correct way. Now, what most people do when they do the Kouki conversion is they modify this core support to basically accept the Kouki parts. What we're gonna do though, is we're gonna remove this core support and we're actually gonna reinstall a Kouki front core support. And this way, the parts that we're gonna be installing will fit properly without any modifications. Now, generally, I guess what most people do is they just kind of cut here and here to allow the headlights, but we're actually gonna put in a brand new core support. Like I said, we're doing that because then the pieces will fit on properly. Plus, this one, in all honesty, was a little mangled over its time. In fact, this support right here just flat out fell off. So in that case, we're also getting some new parts, so the front end will be a little bit more solid. However, two things before we get started. One, if you'd like to see some more automotive, particularly GTR and of course S14 content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And two, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have the JD Archer shop. If you go to jdarcher.bigcartel.com, you can see a limited selection of t-shirts I've designed that are for sale. But with that out of the way, let's start tearing into Mike's car a little bit more. There we go. Okay, goes right here. So what I'm doing is, as I'm basically pulling stuff off of this core support, I'm just transferring it directly onto the new one. That way I don't have to remember where everything goes, it's just already there.
Also don't know, jacking it up there, how far I'm moving. Oh, shit. All right, so mechanic's best friend is always the rubber mallet. We have taken every weld out of here and we've spent, a good 30, maybe even 45 minutes trying to figure out why this thing would not come off. We've checked every weld, we drilled them out. Finally, I just went, you know what? Whack. And it is loose. It's just so tight, we're gonna have to use a sledgehammer to knock the bottom part of it off. Yeah, it's gonna be a snug fit putting that one on as well, but the point is, A, mallets are your best friend, but once you get all of these welds cut out, I mean, we've done some cuts to try to get it loose and everything. Once you get them all out, it's not just gonna come right off. It's actually gonna be a fairly snug, which is good. It makes sense. It should be snugly fit. Didn't realize that was that snug because we were pulling and pulling and it just was not moving. We thought there has to be a weld somewhere. I'm sure we've taken a bunch of bolts off we didn't actually need to. Possibly, those bottom ones we may not have had to. But either way, good thing is we now have it loose, but it's a matter of now we just need to go through and kind of carefully kind of mallet it out because we don't want to undo the the AC condenser. Because I don't want to lose AC and I don't have to refill this thing. It's hot and my window don't work. We're going to keep this thing AC'd as long as we possibly can, which now means I just need to gently for that too. All right, well, that was a quick turnaround on thought we needed to do something, and then a little bit of, I don't know what you'd call that. It's not percussive because I just kind of yanked it.
We'll call it guerrilla mechanicking.
Really, I was just like, I'm gonna bend this little piece of metal out of the way, and the whole thing came with it. Like, oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So
Now, theoretically, we should be able to fit that right up.
theory.
To see it kind of in front of the car. That, you know, optimistic push you kind of need. Yep. From a memory standpoint. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of updates, but we got this front radiator core support mostly on. Still needs to get bolted in and get everything done. We're actually not going to be using the panel bond because it's actually very tightly held on, which is why I wanted to use the panel bond to hold it in place while the bolts went in, but it's holding in place just fine without it. Obviously, we need to bolt it up, but we're going to do that. I also mentioned earlier that I had some extra things. I'm going to go over what some of those were and why we are now not going to be doing those just now. If you remember a few episodes back, we were doing service on this and we found out that the radiator had water run through it. It was rusty. We did a flush of the whole system. Well, while we had this apart, I thought now's a good time to do the thermostat, do the water pump and all that. But A, for time, we're probably just gonna wait and do it later. But also, looking at what they've done with the thermostat, it's got so much RTV on it that it's all over the place. Here's some of it I just pulled off. And likely that's going to become an involved situation. We just don't want to deal with that right now. But I do have that, and we will be doing that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. However, one thing I bought, I'm gonna go over there and show it off now. I wanna show it off, screw you. Since we got a water pump and a thermostat, I also got a new radiator. We're gonna be putting that in here shortly because that old one was all crapped out and it was technically for an S13, not S14. So now we'll have the proper, just knocked over your Dremel. We'll have the proper radiator to put in. But first we gotta get all these lines run, which JD's been kind of working on. I had to run down to the garage in the apartment to get this as well as the body panels. So it's about, while this is a video working on my car, you're gonna see a whole lot of JD working on it today. But we are getting it done. And I think now we're ready to just throw some bolts on here, right? We'll drill some holes, throw some bolts. Yeah, get that aligned up. Yeah, but I'm saying we need to put some bolts in.
What I would like to point out, even though you have the mic, this is addition with Kouki and the,
yes. Matter of fact, go grab the
Zanky and see how the wires now run through the hole.
Yep, go grab the thing. What he's saying is the big reason we wanted to do this, obviously, get a good new core support, but you'll notice there's a hole where the headlight goes. We got our lines running through. Here's the old support. As you can see, solid, very messy, and I just cut myself again. I've cut myself a dozen times today on this thing. But this required running the lines to the front, or actually this one it was running over the top because they did it a very cheap way. But yes, so this allows us to basically run the lines through. What you can do if you're doing this and you don't want to go through the nightmare this core support's been for us, is you can just cut this yourself. I believe there's also a bracket you can buy that will help you with doing that. I don't know, you have to do the research on that. But I just went the whole core support route because as you saw, that one was very messed up. Just to have a nice clean piece of metal is actually always a good feeling. But do understand that taking the core support off is not as simple as I thought it would be. Though I bet if we had the proper drill bit and a lift and a garage and knowledge of having done it before, it'd be really useful. But we were able to do it, and if we can do it, so can you. We've even got the release here. I mean, overall, I think things come along pretty solid. So yeah, so I think now, yeah, we're ready to start adjusting this, get those bolts in, like you said, and then some drilling and making it happen. Let you pass in front of me. We'll get this one locked in first since it should be the easier one. Is it tall enough? a little harder.
How you want to see?
Bronze effective tip. I need some strong pliers. One bolt. Fair enough. Let me get this out. Oh shit.
Little curve up right here.
Mm-hmm. Shouldn't be doing that.
Or it can be. Let's see.
Or yeah.
Yeah. All right, just as I'm sure you're noticing, the audio is just a little bit different on this take. The reason why is even though this was probably a short video for you, it was a long day for Mike and I. You know, the sun started off there and it's now over there. So we did a lot of work, even though a lot of it was probably done off camera, especially when it comes to kind of discussing how to go about things, and just, we kind of cut out some of the menial stuff so it didn't get too terribly boring. With that being said, we did get a lot done, but as you can see, it's not quite finished yet. We ran into a bit of a roadblock. So we got the core support out, we got the Kouki core support in, which is what we wanted to do. The issue we ran into is when we installed the crash bar. When we installed the crash bar, we then attempted to dry fit the bumper, but notice that it doesn't quite line up right. Like the bumper itself seems like it's about an inch and a half too far in and too low, which is leading us to suspect that maybe the Kouki crash bar is different than the Zenki. Now, if this is something you've done to your car and you know for sure that's the case, post in the comment section down below. Let me know. Because although the bumper is kind of on a zip ties, which is very JDM, we would like to do this the right way. And so therefore, if the crash bar is different, let us know so we can get the proper crash bar and get this all installed properly. With that being said, the fenders are on and they're ready to go. We did basically finish up the door on the other side because alignment was a little bit off. So basically when we're done on the next video, all we'll need to do is make sure the bumper's installed correctly along with the headlights. That does bring up another situation we ran into. We tried to dry install the headlights and we realized that for some odd reason, even though they're supposed to be Kouki headlights, they're very, very different. The electrical system and the bulbs themselves were just two completely different things. So that leads us to believe that there is basically an A version and a B version of the Kouki headlights. There again, if you know for sure if that's true, post in the comment section, set us straight. So basically what we're gonna need to do is get the bash bar and possibly some new headlights. So this project's gonna be on hold for a little bit, which means we'll probably be turning our attention back to the R35 GTR. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go hit that thumbs up button to let me know. It does help the channel out a lot. As I did say at the beginning of the video, if you'd like to see more automotive, particularly GTR and of course S14 content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now, if you've watched the video and you have any questions, if there's anything I've missed, or if there was a better way to do some of this and we didn't know about it, post in the comment section down below. I will respond to you. I thank you all for watching, and until next time, forget everything else, focus on the finish line.